All right, and we're live. Episode 1 of Woody Lou Sports and You coming at you. Dan Woodhouse's apartment right now here in Savannah, Georgia. I'm Braxton Lewis, and this is obviously Dan Woodhouse. Me and Dan are some friends who met in the Army. We decided we were going to do a little podcast that hopefully will last more than a week, but that's still to be seen. So a little bit about us. Me and Dan met in the Army. We spent a lot of time together. Yeah. We spent a lot of time together in Poland. We slept really close to each other every night. It was very comforting. And Dan is a very stiffler of a guy. He's a learned attorney here for the Army. So he has a message he's going to give us before we really get rolling today.
Yeah, Brax, we've got some important housekeeping before we really get rolling on our show today. So the views expressed by the hosts are our own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Department of Defense, the U.S. government, or any of its agencies. Now, this is primarily a sports show, but we may get into some legal topics. And to be clear, the information provided is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. No attorney-client relationship is formed by providing this information, and nothing herein should be relied upon as legal counsel. For legal advice specific to your situation, please consult a qualified attorney. Back to you, Braxton.
So I know you're all very disappointed to hear that because I'm sure you tuned in tonight to get some legal advice here, like it's a call-in show on late night AM radio, but it's not. Like he said, we're not trying to get in trouble, so he has to do that. He will not go to sleep tonight. He'll ruin the rest of his day. But we're not going to get anything that's too decisive in nature. We're not going to be talking about current events like abortion rights and stuff that really gets people going. But really no good segue into our first segment. So it's really, I'm just going to go straight to it. We're going to talk Israel for a second. Dan, you got any thoughts on Israel? What's going on over there in the Middle East?
Israel concerns me. Iran even more.
Who do you think's the good guys over there?
I mean, on both sides, it's just carnage. I do think that Israel does have the inherent right to protect itself, but needs to do so within the limits of the laws of armed conflict and international humanitarian law. And I think just based on the news reports and what I've seen, that those rules and laws have probably been skirted in some situations.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, so anyway, back to our real topic. I'm glad you opened that right in the middle of the show. I hope everyone heard that back at home. So first thing we're going to talk about, we had Thursday Night Football last night. Me and Dan had a little production meeting earlier this week. And I said, hey, first thing we're going to talk about is Thursday Night Football. I had a Google Doc with all the topics. Thursday Night Football is the very first thing. So Dan, could you recap Thursday Night Football? Because I'm sure you stayed up for the whole night and listened to or watched every bit of it.
Yeah, well, I started with kickoff and made it through about the first quarter and some change into the second quarter.
Sure.
I was impressed by Mike Evans coming back from injury, getting 2 touchdowns from Baker Mayfield on my fantasy team. So it was great to see Mike Evans. And I mean, he came into the league in 2013.
Came in the league a long time ago. I noticed his age because if you stayed up for the whole broadcast, there's a lot of shots of him after he got his 100th touchdown reception with his helmet off, and his hair's kind of going away like mine. So he's losing it up top. So he's obviously getting up there in years. Probably 27. I heard 27 is a good year to start losing your hair. So no shame in that, right?
No shame in that.
Yeah.
I mean, 35 and got a luscious head of hair. So I don't really know what you're going through right there, Braxton.
Well, that's why I'm always going to have a hat on. So for those of you who stayed up for the second half, unlike Dan, just to catch you up, it was a great game. I had invested interest in it because I'm in 2 fantasy leagues. One of those leagues I had Baker Mayfield as my quarterback, and the other one I had Drake London. Drake London had 33.5 points in that high-tempo Atlanta Falcons offense that I really like to watch. Ironically, though, Baker Mayfield, I drafted him like in one of the last rounds in our fantasy draft we have going on at work, and a lot of guys from work are in that league, and everyone was kind of clowning on me for having Baker as my starter. I said, I'm going to live and die by Baker Mayfield. I really trust what Liam Cohen's doing there, former Kentucky guy. Long story short, last week, a viewer of the show, hopefully he's watching right now, Mr. Atkinson, he said, you can't go with Baker Mayfield. You can't do it. Baker's not the guy. It was a fluke that he had 30 points, so you should bench him. So I benched him for Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray put up a staggering 9 points while Baker was on my bench with 32. Rode with Baker last night. Baker had a solid 23.4-point performance. I'm happy with that. And I think Colin's getting a little nervous because he knows I'm off to a hot start. Thursday night was just the beginning, and Sunday he's being for a world of hurt as we play this week.
So Baker Mayfield, I mean, this is his – what team is he on right now? 4th or 5th team in the NFL?
He went Browns. He had a stint with the Panthers, stint with the Rams. He went from the Rams to the Bucs.
Yep, that's right. He was on the Rams for a little bit. Number 1 overall pick. How do you think these other teams are feeling about his success in Tampa Bay?
Well, for the Carolina Panthers, you hate yourself. I know you got the Red Rocket AD out there right now who's winning you ball games after you get to bench Bryce Young, but I really couldn't imagine having a team with Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield playing running back and scout team linebacker, who are now 2 top performing quarterbacks in the NFC. It must hurt.
Yeah, benching Bryce Young, their latest number 1 overall pick. Yeah, Carolina. I hate to be a fan of theirs.
It's a poverty franchise. I think it always will be a poverty franchise. My first NFL game growing up was at Carolina. I went and saw Tom Brady and the Patriots play Carolina Panthers in a preseason game. Not sure if Brady actually got a drive, but I'm telling people that I saw Tom Brady play because he was hopefully on the sidelines. I was so far up you couldn't see. But it was a good time for every NFL game. Unfortunately, it was with the Carolina Panthers. But, yeah, I don't know how they're going to do moving forward. But looking forward more to the NFL. Obviously, Sunday we got a good slate of games. Dan, I think Dan wanted to go through and pick some of these. And
yeah, let's go through them. And speaking Panthers are up first. Up. So we got Panthers.
Panthers-Bears?
Panthers-Bears. Spread is -4. Who you got?
I hate both of these teams. I don't think Caleb Williams, I don't think Pretty Fingers Williams is really that good. I think he gets bailed out a lot. I don't really have much faith in their head coach. Did you watch that season of Hard Knocks with their new head coach?
I did not. I have not seen the latest season of Hard Knocks.
I loathe that man. I can't even think of his name right now, but don't like him. He grew a beard and thought he was the new hotness. But no, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina covered, because I think Andy Dalton can put them in a position to be competitive in games. It's not coming up against a too much of a team. So give me Carolina to cover, but not to win.
That'd be Matt. I can't even say his name. Eberflus.
Matt Eberflus. You can't trust a guy's last name Eberflus. I don't know if that's German, European. It's not good. Not a big fan. What's the next game?
Next game, we got Ravens at Bengals. Bengals home, underdog, 2.5.
And they should be the underdog because I think the Joe Burrow hype's done, right? Joe Burrow, he came in, he got him to the Super Bowl, and then since then, what? All he's done is been hurt. He's gotten rehab. He's dyed his hair blonde.
Dumb haircut.
He dresses like a he dresses weird.
That's a good catch there, Braxton.
Yeah,
don't forget, we're live.
We are live. He doesn't dress the best. He dresses eccentric, you might say, and it's not winning him much ball games. It's not giving him a lot of praise. Looking at the Ravens, though, I think Lamar Jackson, he's definitely the best athlete to ever come out of Louisville. It's hard for me to say, but I think Lamar Jackson is one of the best athletes in the league, obviously, and a really good quarterback. I don't want to be someone who says he's a good athlete and a good quarterback. He's obviously a good quarterback. He's won them a lot of games. Now they got Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So as a Titans fan, I loved last season. When the trade deadline was coming up, we all thought we were going to move on from Derrick because we weren't playoff contention. Tannehill had gotten hurt. Will Levis came in. He wasn't necessarily crushing it outside of like the first game he had with DeAndre Hopkins. So if I was an owner, I'm not an owner. I don't own much. But if I owned the Tennessee Titans, I would have said, well, Derrick's in a contract year. Don't know if he really wants to stay with us. Maybe I can trade him for a team, I don't know, like the Ravens, who were trying to suit for him and get something out of it. They chose not to do that. They wanted to ride it out with Derrick Henry and not make the playoffs, obviously, and then just let him walk in free agency and get nothing out of it. So it pains me to see. I think the Ravens kind of got off to a slow start, not really knowing how to use Derrick Henry. But these last 2 games, they've really gotten him involved, and I'm impressed with what I'm seeing in Baltimore. So I'm going to take Baltimore to win and cover.
I agree with that, Braxton. I know Ravens are 2-2 at 500, but to me, that's free money.
Oh, yeah.
Getting 2.5 points at the Bengals, they're terrible.
Cincinnati, is that a Kentucky team? Should Cincinnati be considered Kentucky?
Well, it's not. Oh, no one in Ohio claims Cincinnati, so they're kind of
airport's in Kentucky.
If
Cincinnati Airport's in Kentucky.
Cincinnati Airport is in Kentucky.
I think all the Cincinnati Bengals and Reds live in Kentucky for better housing opportunities, better taxes. So I don't know if we want to claim them. If we brought Cincinnati in, all we'd do is just bump Louisville down another notch in the power rankings of Kentucky cities. So I'd hate that for them, but yeah, Cincinnati's they got to turn around quick.
Again, I think that's free money. 2.5 points. Ravens, lock it in.
You think they're going to be big sellers at the trade deadline, the Bengals?
Sellers at the trade deadline? Who do you think?
I don't think they'll trade Chase.
T. Higgins?
Maybe. Probably. I don't know who would suit him. Obviously, Devontae Adams is out there floating around. We'll start seeing. Won't be the Titans.
Nor the Patriots. All right, next we got Bills at Texans. Texans favored 1 point.
At Houston, I'm going to take the Bills. Bills to win. CJ Stroud, he's really good. They're the best team in the AFC South, I think, right now, and it's not really even close, and that pains me to say. But I think Texans get it done. What's their record on the season right now? They're 3-1?
Yeah, both teams are 3-1.
It's going to be a good ball game. I'm excited for that one. Is that a 1 o'clock kickoff?
It is, yeah.
That'll be a good game.
It's a pretty good 1 o'clock slate.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think Texans wins that game. Follow up on the Texans. Let's get Stroudy. Follow up on the Texans. Who claims the Houston Oilers?
It's got to be the Titans, right? They have the history.
Okay. That was a witness test. I agree.
Okay.
I saw a video today. A guy had gotten a tattoo. He was from Houston. He got a full arm tattoo, and he had the Texans logo. He had the state of Texas outline with like the Houston area code, and he had an Oilers tattoo on there. Is that fair or foul?
Go through it one more time.
Texans tattoo.
Texans tattoo.
Texas tattoo.
Like
the state of Texas.
Like the outline.
Outline.
Okay.
And then the Oilers logo. Fair or foul?
That's foul.
That's foul.
That's foul.
Now, what if he grew up? He's a Houston guy. He watched the Oilers play. They left. Is it still not his team? You know, they were the Tennessee Oilers for a season.
Did he get the Houston Oilers tattoo and the Oilers were still playing in Houston?
No. Well, he gets to see the Oilers jerseys every time the Titans go down to Houston because that's when they wear their Oilers jerseys.
Okay. I did not know that. That's interesting. They go in there to Houston wearing Houston Oilers jerseys.
Yes. We're that petty. And we were winning those games until C.J. Stroud got there. They're the last quarterback. He's pretty.
That's pretty fucking cocky.
Yeah, I mean, we got to be cocky about something. It's not winning games. What's the next one we got?
Another good. Well, no, never mind. I was going to say good 1 o'clock game. We got Colts at Jaguars. Jaguars 0-4 are favored by 3.
3-point favorite
At home.
I think the Jaguars have about 200. What is Trevor Lawrence's contract? Is up there pretty high.
When he re-signed last year?
Yeah.
They find that out.
They got a big problem with Trevor Lawrence. They spent way too much money on him. Trevor Lawrence has not proved to do anything. They have no supporting cast, in my opinion. Their defense is not as good as they wanted it to be. Indianapolis, Anthony Richardson, I think, still hurt. I think they got – is Joe Flacco starting for the Colts right now?
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, it's just an embarrassment. You know, Anthony Richardson coming out of college, he obviously got picked over Will Levis, which I'm not saying that was necessarily a bad thing, seeing how Will's playing this season. But he can't not get hurt, right? And he has a big arm. He's always hurt. I don't expect much out of either team. Joe Flacco has came in. He's played pretty good. I don't believe in Jacksonville, but I think they are probably due at 0-4, so I'm going to give them the nod on this one.
So, yeah, he's actually – I didn't realize this. So, Trevor Lawrence is still on his rookie deal. So $36.8 million, signing bonus $24.1, so he's $9.2 annually.
Could you imagine spending that much money on a guy with that hair?
Yes.
Really?
I would spend that money on Trevor Lawrence. Him coming out of college? Absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
So you believe in Clemson and Dabo Swinney?
Got me there. I do not believe in Clemson or Dabo Swinney. Him being so obtuse, not using the transfer portal they're never going to win a championship again. As long as they do that.
No, they're not, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in their matchup against Florida State. But Clemson, I've never despised someone more than Dabo Swinney as a coach, and you know it's hard to say because he's a God-fearing man, and I appreciate that. We got a comment here. Fair foul. Snow globe centerpiece on display before Halloween. We're feeling merry over here. Dan, I think you need to defend your centerpiece here.
So this snow globe, this is a key piece of, I guess, decoration in every apartment I've had since college. So definitely sentimental to me. And Woody Lou and You Sports, or Woody Lou Sports and You, coming live from Pooler, Georgia. The snow globe's got to be on prominent display.
We're big Christmas guys.
Big Christmas guys.
Big, all of the, New Year's holiday guys. Whatever one that is for you. You know, we support that. Big Christmas guys.
And we're excited to be home for Christmas this year.
Yeah, so we spent Christmas abroad last year, and we had charcuterie boards that were sent over. That was about our only highlight. So sorry for being excited about Christmas, Colin. God forbid. We'll try to clean that up next time, and we'll get a little more spectacular for you. I lost where we were at. Trevor Lawrence. Oh, yeah. Dabo Swinney, tighten up, baby. Dabo Swinney, to me, is just the worst of the type of coach you can have in college right now. I would not play for him if I was a college athlete. I don't believe in the Clemson way because the Clemson way has been nothing since he's lost Trevor Lawrence. He's proved nothing. And then I think last year is whenever the Tyler from Spartanburg called into Dabo Swinney's radio show, asked him about all the losses they had, and he went off. And I know when Kentucky lost to Dabo in that bowl game, that was a dark time for me. And Kentucky, I don't have anything against Clemson in college, but just Dabo at the helm. If Dabo moves on and they get a new coach, I really won't have that much ill will towards Clemson. But I cannot stand Dabo.
How much do you hope when they're doing that opening run down the hill at Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina?
Love to see him just completely roll.
Just eat shit.
Yeah, that would be fine with me. I wouldn't have any qualms about that. His khakis will get grass stained. I'd love
yes,
it. Have to stay on the sideline.
Maybe like a wet mug game.
Grass stained khakis for the whole game, saying "Dadgummit" every 5 seconds. So yeah, not a big Dabo guy. Long story short, that doesn't mean I don't think that the Jaguars can pull out this Week 5 victory against the Colts.
So I think it's the first one where we disagree. I'm going to go Jags, -3.
Yeah, I think the Jags are going to win.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah.
I thought you said Colts.
Mm.
Oh, all right. Well, on
Chat,
the same
let
page.
me know if I misspoke there. Yeah, I got Jags winning this game.
All right. This is a real pillow fight at the bottom of not only the division but the NFL. We got Dolphins at Patriots at Gillette at Foxborough. Again, this is basically a pick 'em. Patriots +1.
Yeah, I like the Patriots. I just watched my Tennessee Titans dismantle Miami on Monday Night Football. Tyler Huntley, he was fine, but the offense of Mike McDaniels likes to run down to Miami. All the motions and all the pre-snap checks that they do, it's really hard. First off, they picked him up from the Ravens practice squad a week before the game against the Titans, so he's been there for 2 weeks now. Still a very complex offense to pick up. You saw the effects of of Achane, the running back, not be able to get him involved. Those quick screen outs, quick passes, that really sets up their run and their deep shots. If you can't get Tyreek Hill involved because you can't set up the smaller stuff, I don't have much stock in the Dolphins. Their defense doesn't really show up either. They let Mason Rudolph pretty much just run it down the field on him for a whole game. And Mason Rudolph's first appearance this season. So, yeah, I'll take the Patriots. I like what the Patriots are doing, Dan. I like the quarterback situation.
See, yeah, I agree with that. And I do feel bad. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, he's a serviceable quarterback, but he's just being let out every game to slaughter as a sacrificial lamb. It's the most porous offensive line I've ever seen as a Patriots fan. And it's downright dangerous what they're doing, but they got to protect their draft pick in Drake May at number 3 overall. I like Dolphins. I'm down on
really?
Yes, I'm just down on the Patriots. They can't protect the quarterback, and I think that the workload of the workhorse that has been Ramondre Stevenson is just catching up to him, and he hasn't produced since week 2.
Does Mr. Kraft care? Does he care about these boys at all?
Oh yeah, he loves his players.
Okay.
I mean, it's when you have an unparalleled success across, I would say, any sport, let alone the 4 major North American sports. We'll even talk European football. Is the New England Patriots since Bill Belichick and Tom Brady in 2001? Like it's just you're going to have like
so Tom Brady though, right? More than
yeah, I think he proved that by going out to Tampa and getting the 7th ring, and Bill Belichick could barely get.
Correct. As soon as the night at 21-year-olds' houses on the beach is in.
So he's really not losing. Okay,
maybe not, but not a good coach. Okay, so I'll take the Pats. You'll take the Dolphins.
I'll take Dolphins. Yeah, you want to put something on this?
A little friendly wager?
Yeah.
What do you want? Dead air's great.
Yeah. Guinness.
Okay, I'll give you a
We'll
pint.
do a pint of Guinness.
Sure.
Okay.
That'll be the easiest pint I ever got. Moving on to surprise in the NFC East, the Washington Commanders.
By viewer demand.
Formerly known as the Washington football team, formerly known as the Washington Redskins. Commanders got the Browns coming to town, it looks like.
Yeah, -3.5 Commanders in Virginia.
You know, I'm going to tell you a story. As a kid, my dad was a Cowboys fan. I didn't really have a team yet. I hadn't really discovered the Tennessee Titans. And I think I wanted to go against the grain, against my father. So I became a big Redskins fan. I loved Sean Taylor.
To be clear, Redskins fan.
Yes.
Okay.
The Washington Redskins.
Yes.
That's what they were at that point.
Correct.
Sean Taylor, you know, had the MySpace background picture with Sean Taylor when he died with the Eagle.
Yeah.
I was all in.
Yeah.
And they sucked for the most part. So I started to gravitate away. So I have a little Commanders love. I like what they're doing. I think they got the best quarterback in last year's draft, and I think he's playing very well considering the situation. But the Browns, you know, I think the Commanders hype is potentially real, but I think I'm going to go with Cleveland.
I'm buying everything Jaden Daniels is selling. Commanders.
Wow.
-3.5. And I'm shocked, too. I did not think a quarterback – I know it was only a few years under Brian Kelly, performing at this level in the NFL. I didn't think Brian Kelly could produce an NFL caliber quarterback because he never did at Notre Dame.
Brian Kelly's a joke.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Absolutely. I mean, what he did for Notre Dame, absolutely incredible. Mm-hmm. You know, bringing it back from, I mean, the worst 4-year span in school history under Charlie Weiss. So getting the program back, consistently recruiting, having them in contention for the playoffs almost every single year. Can't discredit what he did, but ever since going down to Baton Rouge, he's just embarrassing himself. An embarrassment.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we got.
Let's just skip to. Have you done the Steelers yet?
No.
Let's do the Steelers. We'll close out the NFL.
Yes. All right. So this is Sunday night game. NBC. We got the Cowboys at the Steelers. -3 Steelers.
I love that line, and I'm gonna tell you right now. I think the Cowboys should go ahead and embrace the tank. I think they're pretty much chalked up. Dak Prescott, he can keep throwing, you know, for 250, 300 yards, keep throwing touchdowns. They're still they're not it. I don't believe in them. The Steelers, I think I'm interested to see when the decision point is for the quarterback change.
Is he back this week? Is Russell back?
He was questionable last I saw. They're still going. I think he's still getting reps, but I think they're still going to assumption that I don't know why I'm blanking on their name. Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to start. Justin Fields had an awesome fantasy week last week, leading quarterback in fantasy points. I like the Steelers. I don't have anything against the Steelers. So I'll take Steelers to cover and get the win.
That's another impressive organization. I saw recently on an Instagram post that the last time that they were under 500 was 2001.
Wow.
Yeah.
They got a good coach up there.
Yeah. He's real good.
Mike Tomlin leaves. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. I like Mike Tomlin. Okay. So let's transition here. You know, Dan, I want to let the viewers at home get a little break from sports. We got to talk some other stuff. Dan, you told me a story this week about you had a hail and farewell, which is pretty much a greeting party when you go to a new unit in the Army. Yep. And where did the hail and farewell take place? And tell me just about how it was.
Yeah, it was at the bowling alley on post. Pretty routine location for hail and farewell.
Easy.
Very easy.
Yep.
The bowling alley was great. Good food.
Sure.
You know, cheap to get rental shoes, lanes. No, it was. It was fairly well attended. I think kind of tough with the hurricane coming through. So
okay.
Definitely not as max participation attendance that I think leaders were hoping for.
Always like that.
Yeah.
Did you? What were the bowlers like? Were there any good bowlers out in the group? Anyone getting some high scores?
I wasn't really paying attention too much. I didn't bowl, but I saw there's some people out there putting spin on it. I'm a straight bowler myself.
You put all fingers in the holes?
Yeah. I get
in.
two, and then the thumb,
Okay.
and then I'm a straight bowler.
Sure.
So I can't spin it. I don't have the wrist action.
Okay.
But I'm okay. I was actually in a bowling league, back in Boston, Sunday Social Bowling League.
You have a team name?
It was not good. I forget the name of the team. Unfortunately it was a dumb pun on Notre Dame alumni team.
You mentioned you didn't have the wrist for getting the spin on it. Do you think there's any performance enhancers you could use to get spin on the bowling ball?
Yeah, I know some people like I think you gotta. I'm curious your opinion on this, but bringing your own ball and having like a weighted ball that will get it's uneven, so you get you can get some more action on it. Like people they come in too. I've seen with almost like the airport. They have the roller bag with the ball and the shoes and
ball and shoes. Yeah, so I'm very opinionated on this. That's why I kind of wanted to talk about your bowling trip. So, in my opinion, whenever I go bowling, I go out there and I completely just raw dog the whole experience. I go up, I ask for my size 11 shoes. They could have just got done spraying them. Someone could have just turned them in. I'm still taking them. I'm still wearing them. I already know it's going to be just a disaster of a smell after the fact. But I don't care because I feel like when you're going into a bowling alley, you're already assuming that risk that's going to be completely
you know what you're getting
disgusting.
yourself into.
Yeah. So when I see people bring their own shoes, bring their own balls, wear their own wrist braces, I think if you don't go out there and on your first 10 frames bowl 270 or higher, you should be publicly shamed and never allowed back into a bowling alley. Yes.
It's like stripped of your wrist guard. Like you have to give that up before you go.
If you have a wrist guard on in bowling, I would argue you just shouldn't bowl because your wrist is obviously too weak to
You should be on tour.
Right.
Got it.
The amount of strain that you put on your wrist bowling, if it comes to the point where you have to wear a wristband to throw a 10, 12-pound ball.
Is that what you're throwing? Are you 10, 12-pounder?
I'm a 10-pounder.
10-pounder?
I'm a 2-finger guy.
Okay.
And I get, no thumb in the hole, 2-finger guy, ball, and I get the spin.
Okay, you do spin it.
I get the spin.
You have a good follow through?
Oh, yeah. And,
okay.
I can go out there and not even think about it and in my sleep bowl like a 170. Which I think for a once every 6 months bowler, that's pretty competitive.
I think that's very good.
Yeah, I'd put that up against anybody. If anyone in the chat wants to try to challenge me on that, I'd love to take you up on
I think Woody, Lou, and you, we should probably go to the bowling alley sometime because I can put up a pretty good number with a straight bowl.
What's your highest game?
My highest game, 205.
205? You busted 200.
Mm-hmm.
When was this?
That was in 2016.
2016. Where were you?
That was part of the bowling league. I averaged 180 that season.
Really? So what'd you bowl at the Helen Farewell?
I didn't bowl.
You didn't bowl?
No.
You think that's weird?
I didn't.
You think you were judged for not bowling?
No, I absolutely think no. I don't think. I mean, it wasn't conducive to bowling. Like it was all kids, and I don't have any kids. Like I'm not gonna be like the.
So you can't bowl in bowling alley if there's kids there?
No, I'm just saying it was not conducive.
Kids were there, so it was conducive to bowl.
I mean, it was the lanes. Like they paid for the lanes. It's probably the Halen Farewell. I'm gonna let the kids bowl. I'm not gonna bowl.
Okay. Sure. Bowling's a great pastime. It's really easy, but like I said, if you bring your own ball, you bring your own shoes, I will judge you.
You better be good.
I'll judge you, and I really think at that point, you should be playing for the PBA or whatever their bowling association is.
I agree.
Who do you think you are? I am. What'd you wear to the Helen Farewell?
What did I wear?
Yeah.
I think I wore the typical officer off-duty uniform of the golf shorts, the Hey Dude shoes, and the golf polo.
So you didn't opt for the two different teams look like you got on right now?
I did not wear this, no.
Chat, fair or foul on wearing two different teams of two different sports of two different leagues at the same time? I think it's foul. I'm going to go on record with that.
I clearly think it's fair.
Explain that to me.
Well, I mean, it's I love the PFG, especially. I went to South Carolina first time. We'll get into this as well too. I'm on a little tour of the SEC of all the stadiums. Went to Columbia earlier this season for the Columbia LSU football game, And I think it's fair to wear that, and then also my hometown, Boston Red Sox.
Okay. So do you think it'd be fair or foul if you had a South Carolina polo on with like a Kentucky hat?
No, I don't. I think if you're like,
I'm trying to find out where's the line for two different sports clubs like in apparel at the same time. Where's the line at? There has to be a line.
You can't wear two different college teams, especially two college teams in the same conference.
So you couldn't wear a Boise State hoodie and a Auburn hat.
No,
they're not in the same conferences though.
Not in the same conference.
But still just two.
Well, the only way it would be fair, is if you were an alumni from both, because you paid for both of those.
So you're alumni. So you're telling me you could go out and wear a Boston hat, Boston University, BU, correct?
Correct.
A BU hat and a Notre Dame polo, and that's fair.
Oh, my dad does it all the time. It's very obnoxious. Him wearing. So my brother went to BC. I went to Notre Dame. He wears the Notre Dame sweatshirt, the BC hat, and just gets looks. And
should probably.
He gets looks, but he's classic dad joke. He's like, well, I paid a shit ton of money for both of them, so I'm going to wear them.
Is Boston College is Catholic. Is BU Catholic?
No, BU is not Catholic. No, it's non-sectarian.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a foul in every situation.
Every situation.
Yes. So much so that I went to the Citadel and wear a Citadel hat. It's a small FCS school. I wouldn't even wear this hat with a Kentucky shirt. Foul.
Well, we can agree to disagree there.
Chat says, I think college and MLB is fine. So I guess if you wore a Georgia Tech polo with an Atlanta Braves hat, that's fair.
Georgia Tech and Atlanta Braves? Yeah, that's fair.
MLB on MLB or college on college would be foul. Yeah, so you couldn't wear a Cincinnati Red shirt with the Boston Red Sox hat. That'd be foul.
No, that'd be weird.
Even though it's American League, National League. What if you have an AL team?
Nah, it's still Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I think it's foul in every sense of the way. So I'm glad we got that cleared up. I like the look. You said you're going on a tour of every SEC school. Mm-hmm. Where all have you gone so far?
So far, it's only been 2 stops. I went to Columbia for, like I said, South Carolina, LSU.
Okay.
And then last week, got out of town, went out to Auburn, Alabama for the Auburn Oklahoma game. Oklahoma's first road SEC game. A little welcome to the SEC, where they got a key interception in the fourth quarter to hand Auburn a pretty unforgivable loss.
So far, just Auburn and just South Carolina?
Yes.
Okay. What's next on the list?
What's next on the list is looking at Gainesville, make it down to the Swamp for a UF game. They're not too good this year, so I think tickets will be pretty inexpensive.
Okay.
And then heading up to Athens for Athens UMass weekend before Thanksgiving.
So you'll be 4 down. I've been to Florida. It's a good place. I've watched a basketball game there. I haven't watched a football game. The Ben Hill Griffin Stadium is right next to, I guess it used to be the O'Connell Dome, but where the basketball arena is now. The downtown life is very exciting.
In Gainesville?
Yes.
Okay.
So Gainesville, have you been to Florida State?
No.
So what's unique about Gainesville and like Tallahassee for their colleges, like Tallahassee, like they're one of their more famous like bar scenes is imagine a strip mall. Right?
Okay. Are we talking like a 6th Street or like Broadway or?
No, we're talking like just a road off a road in Tallahassee. There's a strip mall, and the strip malls are all bars. And the main parking lot for it gets taped off, and you have a single point of entry. You get ID right there.
Okay.
You get wristbanded, and then you can just walk in and out of all the bars that are a strip mall. And then
that's pretty cool.
In Gainesville, kind of the same idea, but they have a double-decker building. And imagine it's like a bunch of apartments, like a double-decker apartments, for example, and each door goes into a different bar.
Okay.
Really fun time at both places. Florida State, I hate to say this, but
they're bad.
Yeah.
They're not good this year.
Florida State, the students already were insufferable with the ones that I met, and they were decent at football. I couldn't imagine how insufferable they are now that they have nothing to rest their laurels on down there in Tallahassee. Mike Norvell, I think his days are numbered. Do you agree?
I think he got a good amount of capital with the undefeated season and getting just blackballed from the playoff last year. So I think he's got like a little bit of a longer leash, but he's got to turn it around.
What record does he have to have this season to not get fired?
He's got to go 500.
So anything below 500, you think he's gone?
His seat is warm.
You think 6-6?
I mean, his seat's not warm. His seat is
on
like
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think anything worse than 7-5, they're probably going to cut the cord on him. I think.
Really?
Yeah. I do. Because when you look at Florida State, they went undefeated in the weakest ACC we've seen in a long time. I guess
Clemson's kind of not back, but they're looking pretty good.
When you go back to Florida State, like last season, their marquee win, top of my head, I don't know, like ACC championship.
Yep.
They played Louisville, beat Louisville.
Yeah, they really played one last year.
A Louisville team who I think was 10-1 or 9-2, and the only real games they played, the last one before that week was against Kentucky, and they got beat at Louisville. And that was a very average Kentucky team that went, 7-5 and lost to Clemson in the bowl game. So like ACC would really hide them. And then you go to your bowl game against the Scorns Georgia squad. Mark Norvell, he lost the locker room. You had pretty much everyone sitting out. Travis Hunter was already hurt. They get rolled 63-0. And then since then they've lost to Georgia Tech. Followed that up with a loss to Boston College. I think they won the next game. I forgot who that was against. But they're 1-4 right now. I think Florida State's 1-4, and I don't see it getting turned around anytime soon. But like I said, the ACC, I'm not a big ACC guy. So there is a world where they could turn around potentially.
You think they're going to stay in the ACC, them in Clemson, because they were like pending a big lawsuit about like antitrust and how much the buyout was, like insane amount of money.
They're not going to the SEC. So let's see here. They lost to Georgia Tech, Boston College.
Yeah, they're
Memphis.
1-4.
They beat a Cal team by 5 points, and then they got rolled by SMU. So with Florida State and Clemson, they're not going to the SEC. Really, when you look at the SEC and who they want to bring in my opinion, the SEC wants to bring in North Carolina, UNC,
they want that market,
and Virginia, UVA. Yeah. What that's going to bring
I think they should bring Tech in, too, if they're going to bring in Virginia.
No, let me talk about it.
Okay.
So I think when you look at UVA and UNC, I think they might favor UVA because football is not good. Basketball has shown to be great or terrible.
They're streaky.
They'll have seasons where like every game's going to be like 42-38, and somehow like they've lost 5 games. But you get the Virginia market.
Yes.
Academics.
Oh yeah.
Great.
Yes.
And they're good at the smaller things. So really good baseball school.
Yes.
Really good at the smaller level cross country, track, stuff like that.
Yep.
And UNC, I think that's an obvious choice. You get the North Carolina market. They're bigger than Duke, bigger than North Carolina State. They're going to bring you the academics. They're going to bring you the average football. Great basketball tradition, and then
they've got an SEC vibe. I went out to North Carolina a few years ago. It felt
really
very much like an SEC school.
You've only been in 2 SEC schools though, so do you think you're qualified to make that call?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think UNC would be a great addition. That obviously adds more of the basketball allure. But Florida State's not going to come because we already have, UF, and they're not going to want to split. They're not going to want to split market down there because they already have it.
Take Miami.
SEC's not going to take Florida school. There's no incentive. All that's going to do is mess up the SEC schedule because they're already thinking about going to 9 games. They don't want to do that. But when you look at most of these teams, their rivals like Kentucky, Georgia, Florida, their rivals are ACC schools already. So we're about to have the ACC challenge, which makes things complicated. But no, I don't think they go. I saw something on Twitter where I think they were getting sued by the Pac-12, but I don't know how serious that was or if that was Florida State. That might have just been a joke after they lost to SMU. But I don't know what they're going to do. They're in dire straits, and I kind of feel bad for the Seminoles. They've really been on a downhill glide ever since they got snubbed. So when you went to Auburn, did you get Toomer's Corner lemonade while you were there?
I did not.
Really?
No.
So what did you do? What was your Auburn experience? Just want to hear this.
Yeah, my Auburn experience. So got in kind of late Friday night.
Okay.
Got an Airbnb with a bunch of buddies. Went out to Sky Bar Friday night.
Solid spot.
It was a very solid spot. I was a little old to be hanging out at Sky Bar.
Sure.
But no, it was. I mean, the place was enormous, and they had a fun live country band
Country that night?
a bunch of covers.
Nice.
The Oklahoma fans were fun. They were a good time. First SEC road game. There was a lot of Boomer Sooner out of Auburn. And then Saturday we woke up and we got a tent. We paid for a tailgating tent right by the stadium.
Right by it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
We did go to Toomer Oaks. Saw Toomer's Oaks.
Okay. The last time I was in Auburn, it would have been my senior year of college. And I think of what I remember, we were supposed to go to watch them play. It wasn't Kentucky. It was might have been Ole Miss. And we ended up going a little too hard at the pregame and never made that one.
So at the tailgate, what time was the game? What was kick time?
It was a 3:00 game.
You didn't make it to a 3:00 game.
Did not make it to a 3:00 game.
What time did you get start?
Probably about 8:00.
Okay.
I vividly remember waking up on a couch and my roommate from the Citadel, who was there, by tossing a bush light into my face and said, "It's time to start." We didn't make it to that game. It was about $100 whenever we get back, but you live and you learn. I've seen a couple games in Auburn.
What was your poison? It was a bush light all day. What was your poison that day?
Bush light and natty light in college.
Yeah.
I don't think if I had a little more money in my pocket, Michelob Ultra. But Charleston's really big on natty light.
So you didn't make it
and PBR.
You didn't make it just drinking like light beer.
No, well, yeah, probably it was just light beer because I probably just had too many. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a bottomless pit. But when it's a little hot outside, because SEC 3:00 kickoff.
Yes. What time of year was it?
This would have been in probably September or October.
Yeah, that's hot.
Oh yeah. And when I was in college, I didn't wear shorts. I started wearing shorts recently in life.
Okay, we're going to have to what?
I only wore jeans.
Is that like a Kentucky thing?
I'd wear jean and boots if it was 20 degrees outside, or if it was 120. Okay. Did not waver from that. So I was losing a lot of sweat.
Oh, yeah.
So fluids were depleted.
Your feet with boots, almost leather.
Oh, yeah. And, my senior year, that same year, we went to the Citadel, played Clemson in September.
Okay.
And that was a jeans, boots, polo.
in Clemson?
Polo tucked in Clemson is about 97. And if you ever went to a game at Clemson, like the tailgating is kind of weird there, and we were not close to the stadium. I walked. There's an Esso station in Clemson that we walked from to the stadium. I think by the time I sat down, I was dead. I couldn't. Yeah. I think we left at halftime, and I was just miserable. The place we were staying in ended up getting broken into that night, or the next night after we left. Clemson was a weird time. Never want to go back. I don't know. Dabo. So, but yeah.
So we're getting some chats. Tuscaloosa is being mentioned. That is also high on my list, is to make it to the University of Alabama. I wish I had made it when Nick Saban was there, but this new coach is looking pretty good.
Kalen DeBoer's a good coach. I was timid. Obviously, he was good at Washington, but like I said, I think when you're in some of these lesser conferences,
he has no experience in the SEC.
No, you can skate by. You're not playing the greatest team. So if you're just a average to above average coach, you can really take a team to be 10-2, 11-1, and really make some noise. I think he solidified his place as Alabama's coach with that win over Georgia last week, which was one of the best college football games I've seen in a long time. Had the pleasure of watching that in Charleston. So I think he's legit. I think Alabama's still Alabama, and Nick Saban still has his fingertips on the program.
Oh yeah, I'm curious. I was actually just rewatching a great 30 for 30 film, The U, and it was talking about when Dennis Erickson took over for the Cowboys coach. I'm blanking on his name.
Mike McCarthy?
Nope. Old coach. Won the Super Bowls.
We're going to get fired.
This is not good.
Parcells?
No, not even close. Right before Dennis Erickson, he coached this. No, that was Dick. He coached the Dolphins.
When was the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl?
94. We get this bad.
It's not Bill Parcells?
No,
did he coach in Dallas?
Yeah, right after Miami. This is so bad.
It's not their current coach.
No. This is embarrassing.
It's not a good look.
He's right here. This is him.
So that guy.
What is that guy? Jimmy Johnson. That's bad.
Never. Yeah, sure.
Yep, Jimmy Johnson.
Know him.
Yep. So when he left after winning the national championship, went to the Dallas Cowboys, won 3 Super Bowls. The Hurricanes, they were just a juggernaut. And a line from one of the players when Dennis Erickson, a coach from Washington State, took over, it's like, yeah, he was given the keys to a Ferrari. He just had to crash it.
Yeah.
I think that's where Kalen DeBoer is right now. He is given the keys to a Ferrari.
So you think like year 3 could start to kind of squander?
I don't know. I need to see how he recruits, because this will be his first like full like recruiting class at University of Alabama. He's driving a Ferrari right now.
And the transfer portal. You got to be able to manage transfer portal.
Yes.
And I think as long as he keeps winning games, that obviously the boosters are going to be invested and give him that money. I've spent a lot of nights in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Tell me about it.
So the best place in Tuscaloosa, Alabama is going to be the Innisfree Bar.
Okay.
So Innisfree Bar is it's an Irish bar.
Okay.
So it automatically gets put on a pedestal for me.
They serve Guinness.
And a lot of car bombs. So that was also the favorite and most frequently visited bar of Justin Thomas.
Okay.
And in Innisfree Bar, there is one pool table, one singular pool table, just in the middle of everything, and on the gold plate. It was dedicated. It was gifted by Justin Thomas. I played a lot of pool games on that table, and they have the JT wrap. And if you don't know this, I'm a big wrap guy.
Okay.
Wraps are my favorite thing. They have a JT chicken wrap. And there was one day Kentucky was playing Auburn in basketball. So that was a win for me, because that would have been 2018. Auburn was really good. Kentucky was really good, obviously. We were playing at Auburn. Auburn was the favorite. It was like it would have been like a 12 o'clock game. So we got to Innisfree immediately at like 11, had a JT wrap, watched the game. Me and the Alabama fans were obviously cheering for Kentucky against Auburn. So I had a lot of allies, got a JT wrap at halftime, and I ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner JT wraps.
You stayed at this one bar?
I was at Innisfree from open to close.
We're talking 14 hours?
Yeah, every bit. What's funny about that, the name's slipping me right now, but Alabama had a basketball player. The number was 22. Maybe Kaylee can remind me of his name. Had wild hair. Anyway, Alabama played.
What kind of hair are we talking about? Wild hair.
He just had a lot of hair. I can't remember his name. Alabama played at 2 o'clock in like Mississippi State. Insert random SEC game. This is like I guess this would be like February. I watched Alabama at Kentucky beats Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
We're all partying. Alabama's playing like Mississippi State or LSU or some low-level team. They win. I watched this guy play in Baton Rouge while at Innisfree, and that same night, I got a picture with the guy in Innisfree.
Wait, so you saw him on the TV?
He played the game out of state, won, flew back to Tuscaloosa, and made it to Innisfree. I watched him on the TV and got pictures of him in the same day.
That's impressive.
That's probably the most fun outside of any experience I had with Kaylee.
And what kind of tab you run that day?
Bad. So
Bad.
My roommate in college, Max, his mom.
Shout out Max.
I love you, Max. His mom works in Fifth Avenue up in New York City. They live in New Jersey.
It's pretty nice.
Super awesome family. Mom would give him a credit card.
Yeah, you're new to these too. We can get into that.
Yeah. Mom had given him a credit card, and it was for emergencies.
Now, tell me what constitutes an emergency for someone that grew up on Fifth Avenue.
So for them, an emergency, because like they're affluent, but like they're not like that.
Got it.
Super awesome people down there. But emergency would be like, I don't know, I got in a fender bender. I need to like do a repair or
slide someone some money to not.
It could be anything.
Gotcha.
That was like serious. To Max and me, an emergency was any Uber we needed, because that meant that we were drinking and couldn't get there. And
that's not legal advice, but don't drink and drive.
And then when our bank accounts were low, that was an emergency because we were college kids. So I think Miss Catherine paid for the bar tab for both of us that day. And I'm pretty sure soon thereafter he got a phone call and he got cut off.
We talking?
I think it was a direct result of that trip to Tuscaloosa.
We got a comma in there. We like get to a comma level.
That day alone?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a college bar. I'd say JT wraps. That's gonna run you about 12. I had 4 of those, and then consistent, Bush Lights with the John Petty.
Yeah.
It was John Petty.
Petty.
Consistent. No,
I
wish I had the photo.
I gotta look him up.
Yeah.
John Petty, Alabama basketball.
Yeah. The selfie of me and him in that bar might pop up. It was a sick picture.
Oh yeah, he just got crazy hair. I wish we could. We gotta figure this out for next time. The tech we're working.
That's my boy. Was he number 20?
Right here.
22, right?
23.
23. Yeah.
Oh man.
I watched him win a game out of state and close the bar down with him that night. Awesome guy.
Did you buy him a drink?
Yeah. Shout out John Petty. I don't guess that was an NCAA violation at the time, but I would say our tab combined for a full day at a college bar in Tuscaloosa probably 800.
College bar. Tell me you were buying drinks for people.
That's 14 hours.
Yeah.
And I said I had the JT wrap like 4 times, but that doesn't include. There were some rounds of chips and salsa and random snacks in there. And the thing about Max is from New Jersey, and you're from the Northeast.
Yes.
You know this. People from New Jersey go to school everywhere but New Jersey.
Right.
So when we go to Auburn, when we go to Carolina, we go to Florida, we go to Alabama. Max knew somebody. So we'd be in there, and some guy that he went to, private school with up in New Jersey, or a friend of a friend, and that's a lemon drop at least.
Okay.
And those start to add up. That was a fun night. The last time I was in Tuscaloosa, I was at the career course in Missouri. My brother-in-law had bought season tickets to Alabama basketball, just like on a limb. Never went to any games. Kentucky was playing there. He texted me. He was like, "Do you want to come to it?" So I drove down from Missouri all the way to Tuscaloosa.
How long is that?
It was like the longest day of my life. It was unplanned. It was like a noon decision. I get there at like 9 o'clock, straight to Innisfree, straight to JT Wraps. We closed that place down, went to West Kentucky.
You weren't exceeding like a mileage radius there?
Probably was.
Probably was.
I wouldn't have even known who my commander was to tell. I don't even know if I'd signed in yet.
Okay.
So I might have still been on leave. But I watched Kentucky get rolled by Alabama, all the pun intended. And then I had to drive back, just boiled up mad, going through Arkansas, which Arkansas, hot take, worst state to drive through in America if you haven't done it.
I've never been.
But yeah, I've been a lot of time to Tuscaloosa. I love Tuscaloosa.
So to wrap this segment up, where should number one SEC spot for a football Saturday in the fall? I'll give you 3, top 3.
The Grove.
Okay.
I haven't been, but I think that's
Wait, you're giving me as your top 3 and you haven't even been?
I've seen it on CBS and ABC, and
I see the Masters too on CBS.
It looks electric. So you would say it's the top, and you go watch it.
All right.
You don't have to go there, but just know it. So, Ole Miss at the Grove. What's weird about Alabama? I want to say Alabama, Dan, but have you ever been to a Kentucky basketball game at Rupp Arena? It's so good and so historic.
Sure.
That, people just expect wins.
Yeah.
So there's passion. There's not the crazy anticipation passion. We were at Alabama for an Ole Miss game, and these old people got too drunk at the tailgate. They sold us their tickets on the 50-yard line for $50 a pop. They just don't care. I don't know. I really enjoyed Auburn. University of South Carolina, when they're good and playing a good game, there is no environment
it was very fun. Noon game,
yeah.
Carolina, it was a blast.
It's electric. I remember.
So I'm doing pretty good. Carolina, Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, Vanderbilt's a wash. You don't need to worry about that.
I don't know. I've been to a game. I've been to Nashville, Vanderbilt. Nashville's fun.
I'm partial to Kentucky. I think on my bucket list is Baton Rouge.
Yes. I think that's
a night game in Death
Valley. That's a Mount Rushmore of SEC.
Yeah, but yeah. So Dan, it looks like we're wrapping up on about an hour here.
Yep.
So I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. I appreciate everyone who stuck around, was in the chat. We should be getting this audio out on Spotify. We'll be able to link that. So just make sure if you haven't like the video, comment if you haven't commented, and then make sure you subscribe to us and
share with your friends.
Share with your friends. And this should be a weekly installment. So I think that's going to do it for us today. I don't even know how to close this out.
It's going to end stream. End stream.
Sure.
Bottom. At the bottom.
I appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Sleep well.